Hey guys, it is Eileen back here with another quick video. This video is being made specifically for Tina. She has bought this envelope punch board and is having a hard time figuring out, which I will tell you, I also had a hard time figuring it out. I had to watch several tutorials because it can get a little confusing. So I thought while I'm sitting here drinking my coffee, I would do a quick tutorial for you. So it comes with, this is all beat up. It comes with the bone folder here, and then you've got all of this here. So I'm going to start out by telling you that the easiest card and envelope to make is going to be taking an 8.5. Let's get this out of the way first. This is going to be my card, okay? And I do find that that the thicker the paper, the harder it is to make with an envelope. So I use my thicker paper, my cardstock, for the actual card. So for a card, usually what I will do is I will cut it an 8.5 by 11 in half at the 11. So half of 11 is going to be 5.5. And I've told you guys recently that it's just been easier for me to use my X-Acto knife and my ruler to cut paper instead of getting out my paper trimmers. Sometimes you have to go over it more than once. And there you go. Okay, so this gives you 2 cards per 8.5 or 8.5 by 11 sheet. It'll give you 2 cards. So this is the easiest to do for me. This is how I make all my thank you cards, or if somebody has a birthday, I can quickly get one out. Grab my bone folder here. And seal it down, and there you go. So this is, I hope my camera doesn't die. So this is the card, okay? So here's where you have to look on your envelope punch board. So you select your card size. Well, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you're going to look at your card size first, and you're going to find 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Here we go. It happens to be a size A2. That's why I choose to make these, because they're the most popular size of cards out there that I find, and they're just, like I said, easiest to make. You cut the 8.5 by 11 down the center, and boom, you have 2 cards. So that's what you're going to do first, is find your card size. Now this works with all these different card sizes. So for example, it says gift card over here. So if you have a gift card that you want to gift to someone, you're going to make your card a 2 by 3.5, and then you can go ahead and make the envelope for it. All right, so we have an A2 card, measures 4 1/2 by 5, or 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So the paper size that we want for our envelope is going to be 8 1/8 by 8 1/8. So you're just following it right over, paper size, 8 1/8 by 8 1/8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this is going to be my envelope, and I'm going to cut this paper down to 8 1/8 by 8 1/8. So again, I'm just going to use my self-healing mat here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1/8 is going to be right in the center of these, right in the center of these 2 grids. I'm guesstimating, so it might come out a little wonky. You should probably not guesstimate, but I'm me, so. And since this is thin paper, it cuts very nicely. So we've got 8 1/8 by 8 1/8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1/8 ish. 8 1/8 ish. All right. So now we have our piece of paper. Let's go back to the envelope punch board. So again, we're doing a size A2. My paper for the envelope measures 8 1/8 by 8 1/8. So now it is going to be time to score. I like to flip it over just because I don't like running my score across, or running my bold photo. Can I talk? No. Running my bone folder across the print. So I just flip it over. So here's what we do. It says score line 3 3/4. So for the score line, we're only using it one time. So it's just this first punch and score that we're going to use that. So 3 3/4. You're going to take this side of your paper and line it up at 3 3/4. 3 3/4. Okay? Now you're going to punch, find your line here, okay, and give yourself a score right there. You don't have to do too hard if you have a thin piece of paper like I do. So you're pretty much done using that 3 3/4 now. Now what you're doing is you're lining up your score line right there with the score guide. So that's all you're doing. You're just lining up this score line right here with this score guide. So we're not worrying about 3 3/4 anymore. We're not worrying about that measurement. That measurement is for the first punch and score only. Now we're just going to run off of the score lines. So again, we punch and we score, and you're going to do this all the way around. Flip it, find your score line, line up your score line. See, I have a white piece of paper, so that's kind of hard. I sometimes have to fold it to really find the score line. Okay, find your score line, punch, and score. And we've got one more side to go. Find your score line right here, line it up, punch, and score. Now sometimes if you're making a big envelope, your paper will come out here, and you kind of just have to feel around to find your score line. Like if the paper's all the way out here, you're just going to feel around to see where that line is, and then just gently press. And if it extends down here, then you just have to score what you can and then fold it when you're done. But for this one, everything fits nicely. Okay, so this is what you have. Okay, you've got your score lines are all right here. Your tabs are right here. I like to go in at this point and round my edges by using this top area right here. You just put your corners in here and round your edges. Okay. All my corners are rounded, and we've got all this little tiny stuff that we just punched. Get that out of the way. I gotta take a sip of coffee before it gets too cold. All right, so we've got our card, we've got our envelope here. Let's just go and reinforce all of those score lines that we just made. And you'll see how this envelope is going to come together as soon as you start reinforcing these lines. You can already tell where it's going to come together. Okay, so we've got a top and a bottom and two sides. Okay, see that? So the important thing to remember when you're putting this together is that you fold in your two sides, and you're only going to put some, I use tape runner, you can use the Dollar Tree tape runner, you can use whatever. Only going to put your tape right here on the edge because you don't want it to get stuck. See, I just did that. I got to wipe it away. You don't want your card to get stuck on the inside. And then you just fold it and press it down. And here is your envelope. You can also use some Aleene's Tacky Glue, or I love the Tombow. When I'm mailing things out, like when I do Happy Mail for people, I always use the Tombow because it just holds. I know it's going to hold. So if I'm handing somebody a card or going to a birthday party or something, I will use the tape runner. But if I'm physically putting this in the mail, then I'll use the Tombow glue just to make sure that it holds and doesn't pop open. Same thing goes for this area right here. When you get done, and seal up your card, you're going to want to put, you know, either the Tombow if you're putting it in the mail, or if you're just, you know, like I said, bringing it over to your neighbor's house or whatever, just go ahead and put some of this on it. And that is your envelope and your card. So I'm just going to real quickly decorate this card for you. That's it. We are all done. We have got a cute card here. Hello Summer, Trop It Like It's Hot. Got some sparkly on these stickers here, and we are ready to mail off or give or whatever our envelope. So I hope that helped, Tina. I hope that I showed you, you know, what you were missing there. And like I said, don't think that you're the only one, because it took me quite a few turns to figure out that envelope punch board. But if you have any more questions, let me know and I will try to answer it. All right, guys, quick tutorial for you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.